Good morning. Today we are continuing with evaluating those expressions. Yesterday we did adding and subtracting the fractions. So today we are doing multiplying and dividing fractions. So we have done this before. We know how to multiply and divide fractions. Some of us need that refresher on how we do it. Just like with the adding and subtracting fractions. We've done it before. We just need to remind ourselves what the steps are. So it's not new math. It's stuff we've done, but it's just refreshing our memories on how to do it. So I can evaluate expressions with fractions using multiplication and division. First, we're going to remind ourselves how to multiply and divide with fractions. Then when we get down to the bottom, we're going to be throwing in the variables. We've done variables. We know how to take the value and just plug it into the equation and then do the math. So if we look at the top, multiplying fractions, who can remind us how we multiply fractions? Aiden. Yeah, we multiply straight across. So 3/7 times 1/2 would be 3 times 1 is 3. 7 times 2 is 14. Final answer is 3/14. I cannot simplify that anymore. Okay, so that would be my final answer. The directions do not specifically say simplify, but we know when we work with fractions, simplify, simplify, simplify. They're not all this easy. Oh my goodness. Sometimes we get mixed numbers. What do I do when there's mixed numbers? Jillian. We have to turn them improper. How can I turn 1 2/3 into an improper fraction? Amelia.
So you times 3 times 1, and then you plus it by the 2.
Okay, so if it's 1, oh my goodness.
I think you need
one.
more.
Oh my goodness gracious. Stop. 1 2/3. You have to multiply the denominator by your whole number. And then you're going to add that numerator to it. So of course, my board is being finicky. So it would be 3 times 1 is 3. Plus 2 is 5. So I get, because life is not going to be easy for me today, I get 5/3. What would I get for 2 1/4?
9.
Isabel.
9/4.
9/4. Because 4 times 2 is 8. Plus 1 is 9. That denominator stays the same. Okay, so always remember, denominator stays the same when we're turning it improper. So now I'm going to do the same math that I was doing. Thank you to my friends that are taking math seriously with me. We're going to multiply across. I'm going to have you do that on your own. I just wanted us to remember what to do with those mixed numbers. What if I have a whole number? Now what do I do? 1/5 times 30. What do I do, Matthew?
You add a 1 under the 30 and then just straight multiply across, which would be 6.
I'm going to turn that whole number into an improper fraction, and then I multiply across. Remember, simplify, simplify, simplify if you are able. So now we refreshed our memory on how to multiply. Now we need to divide. How do I divide fractions? Aiden H.
Okay. You do 1/4, but then you flip it around and 4 over 1.
So I keep my first fraction. I keep my first fraction the same. I flip dividing to multiplying. And if I flip that, I have to flip my second fraction to its reciprocal. Now I'm just multiplying like I did up top. So I'm doing the same math now. I have to flip dividing to multiply. So I have to flip my second fraction to its reciprocal. Then I multiply across and I simplify. What if I come to a whole number? Gigi? I put a 1 under it. Then I do the same steps for dividing fractions. If I come to a mixed number, I have to make it improper. Then I have to flip from dividing to multiplying, and I'm following those same steps. So you're going to take those whole numbers and the mixed numbers, you're going to make them improper. Then you're going to flip divide to multiply, flip the second fraction to its reciprocal, and then you multiply and simplify. So, how are we feeling about multiplying and dividing fractions?
Great.
Okay. So, now let's look at the new part to it, because we've done multiplying and dividing fractions before. We just need to refresh ourselves on how to do it. Now we have variables. So if I have A next to the B, what does that mean? AB. What do I do? Melina?
You do 1/4 times 7/10.
So we know that when in algebra, when they're right next to each other, it means we're multiplying. So I'm going to put in my variable for A, 1/4, and I know it means multiply by my B, 7/10. So now I'm doing the same math that I did at the top of the page, multiplying across. But you have to remember when those variables are right next to each other, it means we multiply. Dividing, same thing that we were doing on top, just plug in your variables. Multiplying, same thing we were doing on top. What about when we come to this one? JT?
You add them, then you subtract them.
What are we doing on this page?
You divide.
What does the fraction bar mean?
Divide.
Fraction bar means that we are going to divide. So if we plug in our variables exactly how it's set up, it looks like this. Which seems really goofy because when we have fractions, we don't usually have a fraction for our numerator and a fraction for our denominator. How else could I write this expression? Amelia?
1/4 divided by 5/3.
So this and this mean the exact same thing. Okay, so don't get confused when you see that fraction bar there and you have a fraction over a fraction. It seems really goofy. But think about what it means. It just means you're dividing one by the other. So write it out this way and you'll know how to do the math, right?
Obviously.
I know that we had our testing this morning and there are a lot of giggles happening right now. Please remember that we are recording this. For posterity's sake. Now we're done. You're going to have to do the bottom two, which is greater. So you're going to have to do the math for both of them and see what answers you get. Then you're going to have to do the word problems using any two of the values above and the operations of multiplication or division. What is the largest value you can make? So I had to go through a few times. I think I might have came up with the largest one, but somebody else might find a different way that gets an even larger value. So really go through it. See if you can find the largest value and the smallest value. I have what I think might work, but you might find a better one than me. So challenge yourself to find the largest and the smallest. Are there any questions on the multiplying and dividing with fractions and variables? Okay, it is just a 1 page today. Take your time because we know that when we rush through, we make simple mistakes. So really look at the math that you are doing. Focus. I know that there was some sillies going on because we just got done with testing and we need to get it out of our system, but I do need us to focus on math now. We do have one more objective in this unit, and then we're testing. So we need to make sure that we understand these objectives. We have one more objective in this unit. So for my friends at home, we hope you are well. We hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day.